Well, remember those common phrases living at home? Dad, can I please go out? Or Mom, what are you making for dinner? Well, like myself, I'm sure most of you have had those types of advantages that is common to take for granted. Today, this speech will provide a brief story of my journey when living at home with my parents, then adapting to a college lifestyle by using the ideas of freedom and growing up. This will be told by elaborating on the advantages before going to college, the amount of freedom my freshman year, and sophomore year responsibilities. By the end of the speech, you will have a better idea of how freedom within my college experience has allowed me to grow up. Living at home with my parents, at least in my situation, I was given so many advantages and they made it really easy not to have to worry about a lot. So, on our way to ASU from San Diego, California, there wasn't much to expect. I was the first in my family to go to a four-year university or go out of state for school, and none of my family members were able to give me that heads up of what to expect these next few years. However, everyone knows when going to college, freedom is the number one thing to look forward to. No rules, no checking in, and completely on your own. Within the first few months, new friends were made along with the friends that came with me from back home, and instantly I had so much fun. I was going to parties and clubs way more than I used to, living with my parents, and eventually going out was almost like a weekly routine. You know those days when you're so tired from the night before that all you want to do is just skip class because it seems like the best solution at the time? Well, going out frequently often led to that consideration a few times. The concept of freedom caught up to me, and it was ultimately my decision if I was going to let freedom interfere with my academic success. Yeah, we're here to go to school and socializing is important, but not the reason why you leave your home. We're here to get an education to better our futures. Assuming most of you know what I'm talking about by sleeping in and everything, have you ever known someone or you had a friend of a friend who had to leave school early because they couldn't handle the amount of freedom they were given their freshman year? They either didn't make school a priority and didn't show up to class enough times and flunked out or got kicked out. So before getting to that scenario, I realized I needed to buckle down, focus on what was important, which was school. Luckily, everything was figured out in time, and straight A's was my reward. By learning how to control the amount of freedom my freshman year, sophomore year certainly put me to the test. Moving out of the dorms freshman year, it was planned to live in a 2-bedroom apartment my sophomore year, and everything was just going to be peachy. My roommate and I found an apartment, signed a lease, and even started buying furniture and knickknacks to fill up the apartment. About 2 weeks before our move-in date, my roommate calls and says she will no longer be needing to live in the apartment with me and she will not be going to ASU anymore because of her grades. So then, living back in my home state in San Diego, California, I had to come back to Arizona early to figure out my living situation. I then figured I'll get a new apartment and won't even worry about finding another roommate because it would have just been a hassle in such a short period of time. So thinking that it was a lot easier, I was wrong. It's a challenge to live on your own if it's something you're not used to. Living at home with my parents, meals wasn't a big thing or a big pressure to learn because my mom was always cooking, and if she wasn't cooking, then my mom or my dad would be cooking occasionally. So it wasn't a problem to learn how to cook. However, living on your own, you're forced to learn how to cook because top ramen and frozen dinners just start to taste gross after a while. Had I not, or even the big responsibilities such as paying for rent or electricity or cable or groceries, or even the simplest things like remembering to lock your door before you leave or blowing out your candles so your house won't burn on fire.